Let me tell you the story of how I farmed countless resources, scrounged for supplies, and got into life and death fights over scraps, all so I could build a homeless shelter. It all started with me spawning in on the beach. I don't want to be here! My only goal for today was to simply run and operate a homeless shelter. With the server having just freshly wiped, I decided to leave the corpse-covered beach behind me and continue further inland. Since the server was completely capped, I had to pass an awful lot of dead and dying people on the way inland. If you've ever seen those nature documentaries where there's like a bunch of turtles that hatch and they have to get to the water and they're like getting like slaughtered along the way and only a few make it, that's exactly what happened here. You know, except for instead of turtles, it was just naked men. Before I could even think of making a homeless shelter, I'd have to make an actual house for myself. So I went to find a base spot. Arriving at Large Barn, I decided this was as good a place as any to set up my base, so I got to work. With my pathetic little starter base now set up, I put together a basic gear set comprising of some shit armor, a bow, and an Ioka, and headed out to scavenge Junkyard. Shit, that guy has gear. Fighting a guy over literal junkyard scraps. Man, my life sucks. He was flanking left. I had to cut him off. Rust is the only game in the world where you kill a guy who's using a fucking water pipe as a shotgun barrel, and you get excited because you just geared up. But anyway, with this guy's gear, I was able to scavenge some more shit and then go home, you know, only getting ambushed once along the way. Upon returning home, I expanded my base, upgraded it, built a workbench, made boxes for storage, and basically my base was all done. That, plus the timely intervention of a guy that, for whatever reason, had way too much shit on him. I'm gonna shoot you! Bruh, 250 scrap, no gun? The fuck?
Shut up, man. Shut up. Just shut up.
Man, I had everything I now needed to get started on building the homeless shelter. So first I went out to get some materials, and then started doing what else but building the homeless shelter. So here's how it works. The right-handmost room is what I dubbed the control room. This is where I have the TC, my sleeping bag, a couple boxes with extra gear, and only I can get in here. To the left of that, we have 3 homeless shelter rooms, complete with a bed, storage box, and refining forge, with a complimentary set of metal tools. And to the left of that, a common area with a workbench, repair bench, barbecue, where the homeless can just hang out and do homeless things like smoke vent. And all of this enclosed in the brutalist stone structure skin to, you know, make it as depressing as possible. Now, shortly after this, I received some extra funding from the county, which is to say I went and farmed some more, so I was actually able to add electricity. So with a small gas generator in a room with literally 0 ventilation and a car battery, I could power a series of lights throughout the building. And since this is Rust, also a lockdown alarm where I could flip a switch and a bunch of sirens and lights would start blaring. You know, just the standard we're getting shot up homeless shelter alarm. And on top of that, I hooked up a rain catcher to an inside water barrel, so we technically had both electricity and running water. Considering there's probably like about 1 billion people on Earth that don't even have that, it's not too bad all things considered. And who could possibly forget the donation box that I accidentally placed around backwards, so people from inside the homeless shelter could donate to those on the outside. So how it would work from the homeless perspective is I'd ask in chat if anyone needed a room, someone said they would, I'd gift them the sleeping bag in the room, meaning they could just spawn in there, and then they would be given the guest code to the door, meaning they can open and close the doors, but they can't change the code. Just before I was ready to open up shop and start housing the homeless, by my actual base, my neighbors paid me a visit, and we agreed to just be chill little buddies. Now, the more important of these two was a guy called Gump Hannah, but I don't really like that name, so I'm just gonna call him Gimp, because I'm a nice and considerate person like that. And so, with a friendly neighborhood now established, I officially opened the homeless shelter. Before long, I had 2 prospective homeless shelter members. Yuchiya Hanada, whatever the fuck that means, I really hope that's not like a slur in Japanese or something, who apparently this was his first time ever playing Rust, and a guy called Booty Shaker, who we can only presume based on his name is very experienced at Rust. How you doing, little buddy? Welcome to the homeless shelter. So I proceeded to give the guy called Booty Shaker a tour around our homeless shelter facilities. And after that, I decided to do something really smart and throw the homeless guy a shotgun. Speaking of which, here you go.
Yeah, especially if like all...
I have like an actual base kind of up. Oh, actually, I'm gonna grab a shotgun. You want to go out and see what's going on up there? Hearing shots nearby, we decided the smart thing to do would be to grab our shotguns and go out. Check the furnaces. Finding his furnaces actually were basically chock full of metal, I left my homeless buddy to hold down the situation as I returned home, deploted all this shit, and came back. At which point something very weird happened. What the fuck? In what I can imagine is only an act of getting supremely butthurt, the guy inside the base threw a satchel charge on his own tool cupboard, which allowed me to go to my nearby actual base, grab enough materials to build my own tool cupboard, and take control of his base. I have no idea why this guy got so butthurt about us killing him and taking like a decent amount of metal, but not like the kind of thing you throw your base away for. After we'd taken away these guys' ability to even use their base, my boy Gimp came by and thanked us because these guys weren't very good neighbors.
They're the grubbiest grubs I have ever seen.
See guys, I'm helping the homeless by taking more people's homes away from them. I hit him kind of heavy. He's down. Booty Shaker just turning the corner and no questions asked eating a bunch of bullets from this guy so I could charge forward was based. The holy trifecta of me, Booty Shaker, and Gimp are unstoppable. Shortly after making these guys completely homeless, the new guy, Yuchi Hinata if you remember, had finally figured out how to spawn on the homeless shelter. So it was time to introduce him. Hi there. Hi. Shining a bright flashlight into his eyes in the middle of the night in an incredibly depressing room. This is like some Gitmo type shit. And then I of course told him how the room works, but this was like a very involved process because the guy was like absolutely brand new. I had to teach him how to authorize on a door, and on top of that he didn't have a mic, so needless to say this was slow going. I mean, by the time we were done, the fucking sun was coming up. And basically as soon as I got my boy Hinata all situated, Booty Shaker had done something very homeless and invited a bunch of uninvited people to come around. Alright.
Hello.
You know what, fuck it. Yeah, just go ahead, bring a motorcycle in here. We already all have brain damage from the gas fumes of the generator anyway. I fuck with that so heavy, dude, you have no idea.
Homeless shelter?
Yeah.
Can I move in, bro? Stop, man. I'm just starting, bro. I'm just started.
With this final guy named Barrel Rifle coming by, every room was occupied. Room 1 had Booty Shaker and his buddy, room 2 had Mr. Hinata, and room 3 now had Barrel Rifle. However, there was a problem. I had fucked up on room number 3 and had forgotten the door code for it, so I needed to destroy the door. This is going to take me a fat minute, so seeing this, the homeless decided to pitch in.
So do you have to pay like rent or something, or?
No, it's a homeless shelter, it's free.
You have to do like free work?
This isn't like a slave labor camp, dude. Okay, good shit. With the help of my newfound homeless buddies, I can now give the Barrel Rifle guy an actual fucking door to his room that he could open and close. Before long, with everybody situated, the homeless shelter was chugging along nicely. On top of that, we'd recently come into possession of a supply signal. Throw one of these bad boys down and a supply plane comes overhead and gives you a drop of supplies. Now for those who don't play Rust, because we're such good people, this is just like humanitarian supplies, medicine, antibiotics, beans, rice, and all that good stuff that wholesome people like us need. There's definitely nothing nefarious inside of there. And so, unpinning the smoke grenade, we called a supply drop down on the homeless shelter. Oh shit, roof. I don't see him on the roof anymore. He might be coming down to push. One of our neighbors had not taken well to the homeless shelter trying to boss up, Armed with crossbows and shitty shotguns, we never stood a chance against them. But the sound of all this shooting and the commotion of an airdrop began the Great Grubbening. Basically, I had made a shit ton of the super cheap water pipe shotguns, using the metal from the guys we fucked with up the hill, and the sound of all this shooting attracted all kinds of people nearby. So we would simply run out with shotguns, try to get someone, and most of the time we'd fail, but it doesn't matter because the shotguns are basically free. And so whenever we killed someone, it was always a huge come up. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. And thus wave after wave of homeless poured out the shelter, shotguns in arm. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, hazmat down right here.
On the roof.
Take that. Okay, hazmat. Guy on roof is dead. Let's just get our boy shit and leave. And so with the Great Grubbening, me, the homeless, and Gimp all took the opportunity to enrich ourselves. By the time things began to wind down, Booty Shaker, his buddy, and Bear Rifle had all decided to log off. Before doing this, however, they gave everything they had to Uchiha Hinata, leaving him with a very nice nest egg. And since Mr. Hinata wanted to boss up, he decided to build a base. However, this guy was so new, he had literally never even placed a campfire before, so I decided I needed to help him. I like this, man. I like this a lot. You know how to upgrade? Okay, so of course I showed him how to upgrade the base, and then I went down to the homeless shelter to grab more resources to bring up. Little buddy's home was under attack. Whoever was attacking us had a crossbow, whereas we only had shotguns. This was bad. With no warning, Uchiha Hinata charged out. I had to help him. Uchiha Hinata had been hit by an arrow and knocked down. I was pinned down behind a rock with nothing but a shotgun and 5 HP. We were fucked. Like a goddamn guardian angel, my boy Gimp came charging out of the woods. This was our chance. Bro, you're the best. Good shit though, dude. That distraction was huge though. Thank you. He might come back though, so let's get your base upgraded to nice. Okay, now upgrade everything to stone. Okay, now get the ceiling, roof. Let's fucking go! After this, I explained the purpose of the tool cupboard, why he should have a bunch of doors, and I even threw him a flame turret. At this point, it was safe to say that he no longer required the homeless shelter. Confident that I could now leave him for a little bit, I decided to take an hour break. When I returned, I came back to a very sweet message. You're too nice. How you been doing while I've been gone? And then looking inside the boxes in his base, I noticed that he had basically no weapons. And since one of the main purposes of Rust is to just murder people, he was lagging behind severely. And so I wanted to teach him how to get guns late into the wipe. We would go on a shopping trip. Gathering up a bunch of sulfur and scrap along the way, we would make our way to Outpost where we would use the drones to buy a shit ton of guns. And off we went. Enough dilly-dally. It's time to go.
Since the forest.
Dude, that's so fucking funny.
The forest,
Man. I love that you can hear the smile like leave my fucking face. Это мой друг, он очень новый.
Wow.
I didn't even think to tell him that Outpost was a safe zone, so he tried to like kill the guy and got gunned down immediately. But he was the only one who could take his loot, so honestly, nothing more than a minor hindrance. Anyway, once he got back, I took that sulfur we had, went to the drone shop, and found the cheapest guns you could find. Now, because it was late into wipe, these guns were basically dirt cheap, so we stocked on up. However, as we were waiting for the drones to somehow bring us our guns, we found who else but Booty Shaker, Bear Rifle, and Crippo. And they revealed to me that they had actually been very well off the entire time with their own giant base that dwarfed my homeless shelter. So actually they'd just been doing the most rich guy thing possible, which was pretending to be poor. So we just spent a bit of time catching up in the safe zone, and then my guns arrived. I grabbed all of them, split them half and half with Mr. Hinata, and then we made our way home. Stay close and be careful. With Uchiha Hanada now having both his own base and a good supply of guns, I logged out for the day. Upon returning, I found him initially offline, but his base had been kind of fucked up because he'd built it wrong or something. I'm not 100% sure, but at any rate, I went ahead and repaired it for him. A couple hours later, when he hopped on, I went and spoke with him, and he showed me something very impressive. Inside the boxes in his base, he showed me a bunch of guns, and these weren't the ones that we had bought. He told me about how he'd gotten these off of grubbing someone. And on top of that, he also showed me a base he built, which to be honest was pretty bad. But making mistakes is part of learning something. Though that being said, I did warn him that he hadn't upgraded the door frame, meaning his base was basically a free raid if he just climbed in through the window. And at that moment, I felt an immense sense of pride. When I'd started with this guy, he literally didn't even know how to spawn in on a bag. And here he was building a base and grubbing decent kits off people. Just to think, it all started in the homeless shelter I'd built. They grow up so goddamn fast. Uchiha Hanada no longer needed my help. He was self-sufficient. I mean, in time he'll grow to rage and hate this game like the rest of us, but for now, I bet he's having a pretty good time. The homeless shelter had served its purpose. Leaving him to do his own thing, me and my good buddy Gimp, who is basically the best neighbor you could have asked for in Rust, decided to go out on one final AK roam together. Some guy on a roof with an M249 had me completely pinned down behind this tiny little rock. Peeking him would be nothing short of suicide. However, night was falling upon the land. If I could simply sit back here and wait him out, I'd be okay. But little did I know that this guy on the roof had a buddy, who at this very moment was strapping on night vision to come and hunt me down. He's got fucking night vision. I'd gotten a couple shots off on him, but he was still alive. The only way I was going to survive here was if I managed to not silhouette myself. Fucking random guy coming. And so began a game of cat and mouse. Each of us knew that the other was here. It was just a matter of who would find who first. Haha! This shooting would alert whoever the third person was. I needed to get out of here. No, go away. I gotta run. Shit. They had called in some kind of fucking attack helicopter like this was Call of Duty. And luckily the guy behind me that was trying to third party me ended up getting their attention, so I was able to slip away completely unnoticed. I cannot even begin to describe how much my heart sank when I was in the middle of the guy's fucking spotlight. Making it to Outpost, I was able to give Gimp his gear back, and with that one final play, my wipe ended. The homeless shelter had done its job, and for once, I'd actually been a helpful person. I'm going to immediately withdraw these good boy points and spend them doing some evil shit. Thank you to The Homeless and Gump Hannah. Notice I didn't say Gimp because I'm actually saying thank you. For being chill guys and, you know, not like backstabbing me even though you guys had a shit ton of opportunities. And then of course, thank you for watching. A special thank you to my YouTube members. Pebble Penguin 252, Pendragon, Stephen LeBaron, and Kyle Ratliff at the Albertus Lover tier, and Anchorwing, Swentiki96, Brady Jarvis, Platypus Advisor, 707 Crispy03, Artist Mercurial, Warsex, and Hassan Hersev at the Big Fella tier.